Katılımcılarımız gelmeye devam ediyorlar. Ee, Yavaş yavaş başlayabiliriz. Bugün öncelikle IEFT Talks webinarlarına hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Bugün Amerika'nın prestijli devlet araştırma üniversitelerinden Morgan State Üniversite eğitim ve kariyer programlarıyla ilgili Sayın Farhat ve Yakup Bey'in sunumunu dinleyeceğiz. Yes. Mr. Yakup, the stage is yours.
Thank you, thank you. So, good afternoon, Marhaba, to our students and friends and colleagues from Turkey and the surrounding areas. We're really happy to be with you today. My name is Dr. Yakup Astake. I'll be more than happy to present a few slides to introduce myself. And also then I'm going to hand off to Mr. Fahad Marzami, who is a staff member in my division, and he will go over the remaining of the slides. And we're very happy today to come from Morgan State University. We're in Baltimore, Maryland, which is on the east side of United States, close to Washington, D.C. And so we'll be more than happy to present our university and then share with you some additional information. Next slide, please, Fahad. So Morgan State is a very old university, more than 150 years old. We're in Baltimore, Maryland. We are what we call a historically Black college. We have close to 9,000, more than 9,000 students. We are very proud that we have students from all race and ethnicity. And a great thing is our campus is beautiful. And if you ever get the chance to come and visit us, we have an amazing campus, and the whole university is recognized as a national treasure. Maryland, of course, is a state that is crucially located. And the advantage of being in Maryland is you have thousands and thousands of international students. So when you come to Maryland, you don't feel behind, you don't feel left out. There's a big international community, and Maryland is among number 6 among all the 50 states as far as ranking for living, for work, and other experiences. So we're really an amazing state. Next slide. Of course, Morgan State has different programs. We have 10 schools. A lot of them are in the STEM area, but we also have programs in non-STEM areas. So you, as a student who comes to Morgan to do your bachelor's, master's, or PhD, you have a lot of choices. And you can, of course, visit our website for more information. Next slide. The advantage of being in Maryland is after graduation, of course, all students, they want to get a job. They want to get an internship. They want to get an experience after graduation. Well, the great thing is Maryland is one of the states in the area where they have plenty of job opportunities. We're close to Washington, D.C. We're close to Philadelphia, New York City. So our students after graduation, especially our international students, will have plenty of opportunity for jobs after graduation in all areas, IT and non-IT. Next slide. Of course, next Mr. Fahad is going to present to you the different types of bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs we have to offer. And then I will weigh in once in a while, but I'm going to hand off to Mr. Fahad Marzami. He'll introduce himself, and then he'll go over the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Farhat Marzami, the International Students and Scholars Recruitment and Enrollment Program Manager here at Morgan. Because of my Iranian background and being in close contact with Turkey, I will be handling, and I will be at Istanbul at the end of November, late November. So if there is any question you want to go in person, I will create a community, the WhatsApp community with this, so we can be in touch. Anyway, as Dr. Astaki said, we do have a lot of programs, 9 schools, 1 college in Morgan State. We do offer over 60 bachelor's programs, more than 40 master programs, and we just added a few to our PhD programs to become close to 30. And 95% of these programs are, of course, statewide, nationally accredited. And the good news, which I couldn't add to this slide last night, we are now recognized by YÖK, Yüksek Öğretim Kurulu in Turkey, from year 2018. Now, that means if you receive a degree from Morgan, it's going to be fully recognized in Turkey. So it's Morgan is one of the few universities who's recognized by you in Turkey. So the Morgan, we do also offer some certificate programs, which are fully online programs or HyFlex hybrid, which the students can attend in person or online in these programs. We do have all those in the website you can look into. Morgan has been welcoming international students for over 5 decades, and right currently we do have about students for about over 35 countries at Morgan, and Turkey has been presented in this community for over for about 8 to 10 years. We started taking students from Turkey for over 8 years now. But that I have been here, I always have some Turkish students here. Morgan is conveniently located about an hour north of Washington, D.C., and about 2.5 to 3 hours south of New York, as Dr. Fatih mentioned before. Here is the latest. Actually, this is I would say in Turkish, en sıcak slide'ımız bu. This is the warmest right after, I would say, the oven. So because this report came out last week, this shows a breakdown of the students' interest in different international student interest in different programs. For example, our largest enrollment amongst the international students was in computer, mathematics, and natural science, which is 237 on the last row, which is blue, which is shown by blue. Then, for example, our engineering has 149 students from between international students, and these are the breakdown of these programs: 237 for the natural science, 149 on engineering, 193 for business, and this is as of 2022. This is this report just came out. So we are seeing a big increase in international student applications, especially from Europe and Middle East, because we have started some programs, some partnerships in crucial countries in there, including Turkey. In the last 12, 13 years, Morgan has actually invested about $1 billion to build, renew the campus. $1 billion, of course, is a big money. You can tell from the pictures here. You can see our beautiful campus. All the classrooms. I was actually going with an international group last week. All the classrooms are state-of-the-art classrooms, the labs, and almost all the programs right now. All the schools are having a new building built in for. The last two are coming next year, which is gonna be, I guess, an upgrade for the whole campus. Morgan State University, as Dr. Astati mentioned before, has a very high statewide and national ranking in degree offering for our students. And again, Dr. Astati mentioned that Maryland, the state of Maryland, is the number 6 in between 50 states in the United States by 2021 report. What Dr. Astati mentioned, actually, Morgan State is the number 6 because the residents of Maryland are highly educated, and the number is close to 40. That 40% of the Maryland residents, they do have a bachelor's degree or higher on the education. So that's what put us in number 6. Plus the ranking between the universities, Maryland stands at number 6 in between 50 states. We do have over 100 programs, extracurricular programs, including the sports, arts, music, activities, and the student organization. So for sure, you're going to have something, you're gonna find something that interests you besides you're going to the class and doing the homework and all those education related programs. So you will have a good time at Morgan State. Here are some information for the applications, for the applicants. For example, the bachelor degree program applicants have a website for it in here for sure. That this slide is gonna be this PowerPoint is gonna be shared with you. You can use the first link to look into the programs. Then, if you want to apply to the Morgan State, you can use the second link, which is our new system, which actually moves fast. I'm in control of that. So I'll make sure our international students don't wait in line because we know there are other processes you need to do instead of our local students. So the information, please just make sure to check the information before you start the application. Some admission requirements for undergraduates, lisans programların için burada ben de requirement'ları yazdım. Evaluated school transcript. We use the companies like West, like EC, Spartan, and other companies, the third-party companies. Some IELTS or TOEFL might be needed depending on the program, but mostly for the undergrad, this is I guess, is a must. We did have some other requirements which we took away because of the COVID, and they haven't come back yet. So now is the time if you want to get rid of some of the requirements we had before that may come back someday or may not. The copy of the financial statement is going to be needed, so make sure you get these documents together before you start the application so everything moves fast and smooth. Here are some requirements for master program, master or PhD programs, because we just added a few PhD programs this year. And by the way, I'm going to go back to that because Morgan State is currently an R2 institution. That means between the rankings, R1, that means research universities, they have rankings R1, R2, R3. There are just a few institutions in the United States with the R1 ranking, and we are becoming an R1 institution in the next 2-3 years. We have reached the threshold. We're gonna maintain this threshold for the next 2 years, so we're gonna be announced as an R1 research university. So that's why the Morgan State is kind of investing in the PhD programs, master programs, and giving the students the opportunity for research and, of course, the scholarships and the assistantship which comes with the research. So for the master and PhD programs, again, I did mention here the website, so you can go look into the programs, find your the program that you like. For the application, the second link is for the application. You can just go here and start the applications. Some requirements which are actually fewer than undergrad programs. Here are those requirements I put in here. The college GPA minimum of 3. If you have a slightly less than 3 GPA, you can still be qualified, be admitted to university as a conditional admission, which is going to go away within a semester or two after you show that you are doing good. The transcript evaluation is the same. We do use the same companies. Let me go to a slide back. This is the West World Education Services or Education Credential Evaluation, ECE, and the other that actually works both way for grad and undergrad admission. So these are some links about the scholarships and the assistantships you can apply. These are not related to Morgan. These are for international students. You can look into and do the applications. There are qualifications. When you go to the website, you will see them. Hopefully, you will be qualified for at least one or maybe a few of these programs. So An advice for graduate students who wants to apply and join us at Morgan. Please just make sure that the university here we are talking about Morgan has the graduate program you are looking. First thing is to find the program you like. Then check the admission requirements, which I listed some of them, or I would say most of them in the previous slides. You will see them. Then the transcript evaluation, just make sure to have your transcript evaluation ready. Normally, because I'm in direct contact with the students, normally when you go there to one of those websites, request a copy to be sent to Morgan State, and I would say request a copy for yourself to have it in your record because you might need them. You might want to apply for another job for another university. Just get a copy for yourself too. It's a few dollars more. You can always request a copy. Then check the application deadlines. Make sure you apply before the deadline. The financial certification, actually, we're gonna need that after your admission. Don't go after that and pass the deadline for it. First, do the application. Let the school work on your admission, which is now with the new system. We are acting kind of fast on it, but don't get stuck with the financial certification because that's a step we're gonna need after the admission for your I-20 process, so you can go to the embassy and request a visa based on that. So don't get stuck on the financial the letters. And finally, here at Morgan, we offer almost every degree program of your choice, starting from your bachelor's degree until you receive your master's or your PhD, hopefully. By the way, we did have some students. I'm gonna meet them here at Morgan on October 26th. Furkan. He just graduated from Morgan State CICS program, so he is coming. He was here in December. He worked on the stage. He's from Beykoz University. We did do an initial program with Beykoz University in Istanbul. So Furkan has graduated. Now he's in the United States and he's gonna come meet us on the November 26th, the day before. Actually, I'm leaving on my trip, and I will be, as I said, I don't know if I mentioned, I will be in Istanbul in the last week or the week before, is the third week of November. So I will, this number here, 949 number is my WhatsApp number. If you send me any message through that, please make sure to start the conversation with IEFT 2023 so I know what the message is related to. I can put a group together. So if you have any additional questions, any additional concerns, you want to start applications or anything about any program, you can, maybe we can meet face to face while I'm in Istanbul. I'll be staying in Beşiktaş, so hopefully we will see you. The two emails on this page, actually one of them is our division, our offices email. The first one, the international.admission@morgan.edu, that comes direct to me. So you can just feel free to contact me with any question, any concern, or you can reach our staff with the second email, which is the international.affairs@morgan.edu. So I'll kind of done with this. I thank you for being here. And if you have any question, any concern, me and Dr. Astati, we are ready to provide answers the best we can. Thank you very much and have a good day.
And let me add a few comments before we go to the questions. Thank you very much for the presentation, Farhad. One thing, I've done these presentations so many times. The biggest question is, of course, how do you pay for university fees in America? And then the second question is, what is your ranking in America? So I wanted to make sure that all of you understand America has about maybe 4,000 universities, and including the community colleges. Out of those 4,000, it's only a few, maybe 1,000 who are research universities. These are universities that offer a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree, and they do a lot of research. And among of those 1,000 research, there is a ranking called R1, which is high research, and only 150 universities are in that rank. And then the next ranking is R2, and Morgan is among that rank. That's another 150 universities. So if you look at the R1 and the R2, there are only 300 universities out of maybe 4,000 that have the highest ranking, because they offer bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs, and they are highly qualified. And like Mr. Fahad indicated, Morgan is actually now very, very close to being R1, and we believe that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will be R1, which means that Morgan will be among the 150 top universities in all of the United States when it comes to degree programs. That is the one thing that I want to share with you. The second thing is, of course, financial aid. How do I get a scholarship? How do I apply for scholarship? Scholarships are very competitive. And unfortunately, most of the students it's very difficult to get a scholarship before you come to Morgan. When you apply as a student, we have a lot of students who apply from international regions, and the competition is very high. I always tell students, and I was once an international student. I came from Ethiopia. Mr. Fahad was once also an international student. He came from Iran. I had to pay my own tuition and fees for the first year. And once I got my grades from Morgan State and they saw how good of a student I was, then they gave me a scholarship from my second year, my third year, and my fourth year. So my advice is just do your best to get 1 year's worth of tuition money. Come to Morgan, prove your grades are excellent, whether you're a master's student or PhD student, and then your chance of getting a scholarship is very, very high. Otherwise, if you want to get a scholarship before you come to Morgan, you better have the highest grades possible. And unfortunately, a GPA from Turkey is not the same as a GPA in America. That's why if you're a high school student, they will ask you to take the SAT exam or the ACET exam. And then if you're a graduate student, they will ask you to take the GRE exam. So be prepared to take those exams and prove that you have the highest scores. But even if you don't get the highest scores, just come here, do your best to get 1 year of education, and then afterwards, if you do very well, most of the professors at Morgan will sponsor you, and they will try to give you the scholarship that you need. And that is the one thing that I want to add. I am done with my presentation, and now we can open the floor for questions and answers. Thank you. So I guess the questions, you can either post them or you can unmute yourself and ask them, whichever you prefer. We will try to answer them as we see them.
We did have some questions. I did the answers too. We did have.
I think, yeah, one of the questions was, is it okay to apply to our master's program with a 2.99 GPA? The answer is every program is different. Some programs will not look at your application if you have less than 3.0. Other programs are more willing to talk to you. They check on your background. If they believe that you can make it, they might give you conditional admission into the master's program. But you will never be applying to a PhD program with a 2.99 GPA. They will not accept you. They'll reject your application immediately, because most students who go into the PhD program, they're supposed to have a 4.0 or 3.9 or 3.8 when they did their master's degree, because a PhD program is very, very competitive. That is the one thing I wanted to share with you.
Actually, if I can add something to what Dr. Asad said, on the undergrad admission, if there is any limitations for the requirement for the GPA, then it's gonna go. The system is gonna decide about that, because all the applications goes to the same place. Undergraduate admission is a different office than the department. They do accept students or not. But when you're applying as a graduate student for master's, yüksek lisans için, then it's the department and your program director who decides for your admission. If they give you admission, then the school will be more than happy to welcome you. You can communicate with your program director that you're applying You can communicate with the department that you're applying. If there has been something wrong on your last semester of your let's say bachelor's degree, your grades has dropped a little bit, you can explain that. You can have interviews. They will ask you for some other requirements, and they will admit you to the program even with a lower GPA. I have seen this. We have done this for students. So the other questions. Oh, there's a question I'm gonna ask Dr. Astati. It says, could you elaborate the conditional admission for the low grade for master's degree? I guess I touched into that, but I would give the
yes, they did that. But let me tell you, and then there's also another question. So what kind of social clubs? Yes, no problem. Let me answer the GPA one, and then I'll go back to the social clubs. Conditional admission, most universities to conditional admission to international students. If an international student has a very low GPA, and if you cannot even get a 3.0 GPA from your own country, it's going to be very hard for you to get admission into any graduate program in America and get enrolled. So that's why conditional admission is always given to US citizens or citizens who are finishing their bachelor's degree in America. If you're coming as an international student, 3.0 should be the minimum. Now, like Mr. Fahad indicated, if you're applying for your bachelor's degree, then you might have a chance, but there's another department. But for a master's degree, minimum GPA is 3.0. If you don't have a 3.0, chances are the school or the department will reject your application immediately, because they're going to say, now, unless if your GPA is a little bit close to 3.0, but then you have a very high GRE score, then maybe that can help you. But if you don't have a GRE score that is high and your GPA is below 3.0, it's going to be very, very difficult to get an admission to Morgan. And the problem with conditional admission is this: even if Morgan gives you conditional admission, they have to indicate that in their letter of admission. Unfortunately, when you go to the US Embassy in Istanbul, they're going to say, oh, you only received conditional admission. We're not going to give you the visa. So that's the problem. So we always tell students, make sure you have a very good GPA as an undergraduate student. And the higher the GPA, the better your chance of getting admission, and the better your chance of getting into our graduate program. And even if you ask for a scholarship, you have a better chance of getting a scholarship. Then one of the questions was, Melissa is the one who asked, what kind of social clubs Morgan State has? Like Mr. Fahad put in one of his slides, we have more than 100 clubs. So we have clubs that are organized by international students, but then we have clubs that are organized by different programs. So you can join a club for music, you can join a club, you can join the band. If you like sports, you can do sports. They also have different clubs. So you will have no problem keeping yourself busy and getting in by joining clubs. So that is the one thing that I want to share with you. And then the other question was, okay, can we get a work permit while studying in the USA? The answer is yes. So you have two choices. If you can get a job on the campus and you can work up to 20 hours a week, you don't need admission from your immigration services. So you can work anywhere on campus at Morgan. You can get paid, and you don't need special requirement. If you want to work outside of the campus, you can still work 20 hours a week. However, that work has to be in your major. So if you're a business major, your work off campus has to be related to business. If you're an engineering major, your job off campus has to be an engineering major. Otherwise, the immigration services will not give you the documents to get your visa approved. You have to get what we call a social security number. and they will not approve you to get a social security number to work off campus. Now, the good thing is this: when you're studying full-time in the fall and in the spring, you can only work 20 hours a week. But when you are off for the summer, you have 3 months in the summertime, immigration allows you to work 40 hours a week, which is full-time work. So a lot of our international students who are very good, they apply for job opportunities off campus, and if they get a job from a corporation or any entity, they can work up to 40 hours a week during the months of May, June, July, and then August, of course, we have to return to the campus. So that's how it works. There's no GPA requirement for certificate program. Most certificate programs, of course, everything has a GPA requirement, but the key is, if your GPA is below 2.0, then they won't even accept you into the certificate program. So 2.0 is a C average. So at the minimum, you need to have that GPA. Now, remember that some of these certificate programs, they expect you to finish your bachelor's degree. And so they call these post-baccalaureate certificate programs. In that case, they also have a GPA requirement of at least 3.0. So it's not the same thing as being admitted in the master's program, but they still have some requirements for the GPA for the certificate programs. And of course, Mr. Fahad can connect you with the programs once you tell him what you're interested in. Yeah, what is the career opportunity? That's, of course, the biggest question. Whether you get a job after graduation, it depends on several things. First of all is, what is your major and what is your GPA? And in addition to your GPA, have you done any research work or any extracurricular activities on the campus? If you're the type of student who has done very well in their coursework, who has a lot of experience doing research on campus or being a leader in a student organization, and you show them that, then your chance of getting a job off campus is very, very high. And like I indicated, after graduation, you can apply for what we call OPT. That's PT stands for practical training, O stands for optional. So the key is you have an opportunity to get an OPT. If you're in the STEM area, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics area, you can work up to 3 years after graduation. And you can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars during that time. And once again, like I indicated earlier, if you are a highly qualified student after graduation, the company who applies for who hires you as an OPT can file for your H-1B visa. And then after the H-1B visa, you can work for them for 6 years, and then they can file for your green card. And once you have your green card, then you become a permanent resident. The next question is, do they accept IELTS? Yes, Duolingo, actually, Mr. Fahad and I will be attending a meeting next week or in the next 2 weeks. Duolingo is coming to Morgan to present. And we believe that once Duolingo is accepted by Morgan, it will be the cheapest and the most efficient way to prove your English proficiency. Right now, we only have IELTS and we only have TOEFL. But I'm sure that once Duolingo is accepted, you also will have that option. I heard that Duolingo is cheaper to do, and it uses AI. It's very user-friendly. So yes, Morgan, hopefully by 2024 January, will be starting to accept Duolingo for English proficiency. And let me see if I missed any other questions. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think any other questions? Once again, feel free to type the questions.
One just came in. Can I continue to study in US by transfer?
Yes.
My credits from bachelor. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's possible. Actually, when I came to Morgan, I had already started my education in Ethiopia. And so I did a year and a half. Well, I did 2 years in Ethiopia, and then I transferred to Morgan. Unfortunately, out of the 2 years of classes I took in Ethiopia, Morgan only accepted 1 semester. The other classes, they did not accept them. You know, those things happen. So depending on which university you come from, you will apply as a transfer student. You will send your transcript that called WES. They will evaluate your transcript, and then they will send it to the department you're applying for. And once the department looks at your transcript, they will tell you how many of the courses you took they will accept. If they accept 100% of the courses you took, congratulations, but that's very, very rare. In most cases, they will accept 50%, maybe 60% of the courses you took, because as you know, the higher education system in Turkey is different than the higher education system in America. By the way, even within America, we have 50 states. So when a student transfers from Morgan, which is in Maryland, from a university in New York, which is still in America, we will not accept all their credits. Why? Because the education system in New York is different than the education system in Maryland, is different than the education system in California or in Texas. So when you transfer from one university to another university, from one state to another, or from one country to another, be prepared that some or a lot of your classes will not be accepted. So you only can tell after you apply.
Before we go to the next question, actually, the first person I met in Morgan State when I was starting my study is Dr. Astatki. He was my advisor in electrical engineering. I had 151 credits from Iran under my belt, which was a full bachelor's degree. Dr. Astatki accepted 85 of those credits and advised me to take one semester undergraduate to actually equate to the Morgan State. Then I started my master's degree back in 2010, I guess, 2011.
Yeah.
So the next question is, do you have online programs? The answer is yes.
Yes.
On our slide, we do have fully online programs. Some of them are full online. Some of the other programs we do have, they are hybrid. We call them hybrid programs on this HyFlex or hybrid, which are partial part online and part in person. So it's a mix of those. That's why we call it hybrid. But yes, we do have fully online programs. If you go to the website and just search for online degrees, that's gonna pop up. I do have applicants from all around the world for our online programs, like in the public health, especially. There are a few programs in there.
Okay. Any other questions? See, more is coming. Very good. No, there's no age limit. It's very nice in America. I was teaching engineering. I had some students who are in their 50s and they were doing their bachelor's degree. And the question is, when I asked them why, they said, well, I finished my bachelor's in 21, 22. I had a different major. I worked for a different company for 30 years. I'm retired, and now I want to change my major. I believe I can do engineering. And some of these people started engineering at 50. They finished at 54. And you know that if you're in good health, you can work another 20 years until you're in your 70s, and you can have an amazing engineer career. So that's the advice that I gave them. So you're right. There's no age limit at Morgan. You can be at any age. You will be admitted only based on your background. Do you have the bachelor's degree, or are you pursuing a master's degree? Or are you pursuing a PhD degree? Of course, PhD admission is very, very strict. Master admission is a little bit strict, and then bachelor's admission is less strict. So it depends on your major, but there's no age limit. We welcome students from all ages.
We do have 20 minutes. If other question doesn't come in, I have a comment about this. I am born in 1968. There was a gentleman last semester who actually left Morgan State at 1968, the year I was born. So he started a bachelor program at Morgan, but he didn't finish because back then I guess he had to work or something. He didn't finish his actually studies at Morgan. He did not receive any degrees in here. After he left Morgan in 1968, he has developed four very, very successful companies. He has developed his companies, made a lot of money, and got retired 2 years ago. then decided to follow his dreams and get a degree from Morgan State. From 1968 to 2022, that's another 40, 50 some years. He came back. Finally, he graduated last December, the same semester as I told you, Furkan from Turkey was graduating here. So yes, we did have some of those stories too at Morgan. There are no age limits.
Yeah, so it's all what you want to do with your life is what we want. If you want to improve yourself, you're never too late to take action. Just because you went to college in your 20s and it didn't work out, it doesn't mean you need to quit college. If you're in your 30s, you can still graduate from college and work another 30 to 40 years. If you're in your 40s, it still doesn't matter. After graduation, you can still work for 30 years. Like I told you, I had several students who started engineering in their 50s. And I told them, you know, if you finish by 54, 55, and if you're in good health, you can work another 20 years, minimum 15 to 20 years is a very good career in any, and especially engineering and STEM areas, there's plenty of opportunities. Yeah, so we don't have a major of Japanese at Morgan. And so the foreign language department, you might have a hard time getting a visa. And so we have to do some more research on that, but Mr. Fahad can give you more information if you email him or you contact him by WhatsApp. He can check with the foreign language department. The foreign language department at Morgan, we mainly allow our students to take a minor in foreign languages. So most of these students have a different major. They can be a business major or it can be any other major. And then they take a foreign language as a minor. And that's how we have those programs. But I don't think you'll be able to get an I-20 to come to Morgan to study Japanese or any other language because we don't have those degree programs.
That actually depends on the level of the study too. If you have let's say, a master's in Japanese, and if we had that Japanese, which I doubt we do, then for PhD, yes, because I do have students who have applied for PhD in English language from Iran, and they have received not only admission. Last semester, one of our students, one of our applicants, received a full scholarship from the English department. So
yes,
it depends on, yes, if you come in here to do a bachelor's degree in Japanese, I would say that the embassy is not going to really look very warm to it. But yes, if you have a master's degree, you want to apply for a PhD in that, it's a Japanese literacy, yes, you have a chance. But for the bachelor's degree, I doubt the embassy will really look into it very good.
No, Fahad, what I was trying to say is this: Morgan does not offer any other degree programs in foreign languages, period.
Okay.
So we don't have a bachelor's in French, a bachelor's in Spanish, or a bachelor's in anything else.
No bachelor's.
We have our foreign language department teaches English. So you can get a degree in English literature, in English writing, but you can take a few foreign courses as a minor, but you will not get a degree in a foreign language. And other universities have a full foreign language department where you can go to their university and you can get a bachelor's or a master's or PhD in Japanese or in any other international language. We don't have that at Morgan State, just unfortunately. But we have a very, very good English department, very strong English department. Any other questions? I don't think we talked about the deadlines in the slides, just so that you understand, because of the requirement from the application to getting the admission and getting your appointment for the visa, you should plan to apply at least a year in advance. Because, you know, visa appointments at the US embassies around the world are very challenging. I don't know what the appointment times are in Istanbul. or Ankara in Turkey, but it's very, very long. At least 2 to 3 months is what they're looking for. So we always tell students apply at least 6 months to a year early. That way you'll have enough time to submit all your documents. I'm sure you'll have to be evaluated by WES or any other evaluation. Then your department has to look at your documents, and they meet, maybe a few times in the semester. Then they have to decide if they're going to admit you. And once you have admission, then the next process is you have to bring your financial documents, your financial letters, bank statements, and then we issue a visa after your I-20. And once we issue you an I-20, then you request a visa appointment. As you can see, it's very lengthy. So we strongly advise you to start preparing. So right now we are in fall of 2023. And if you want to get admitted for next fall, which means next August of 2024, you should start your preparation now. Everything has to be in by December because the evaluation, all those things happen before the end of this semester. So that is the one thing that we start at least a year in advance.
I mean, you can get in touch with me in that. You have my email address, my WhatsApp number in here. Just get in touch with me because the university's application seasons start and end. For example, right now you cannot apply for spring 2026 in the university because the application for that is not open. So what you can do, when you have all your documents ready, you're ready to apply, you can apply for the latest application. When you go to the application and those things, there's a drop down which says which semester you're applying for. Just always check the second one, the farthest one, so you can apply for that. By the time your admission comes in, and you're getting ready to go to your appointment in the embassy, based on what kind of appointment you get in the embassy for that, we can always update your I-20. You can always go to the same site and do the deferral request. So you are admitted. You have that letter in your pocket. You just ask the university to delay your semester so you can get your visa process done by then. So you're gonna apply. You're gonna get admission. By the time, hopefully, you will get a early embassy appointment for your visa. But if that didn't happen, don't worry about anything. This is a regular process we are doing right now. You can just go to the same website and apply for a deferral for 1 semester or 2 semester. It's gonna be approved, almost guaranteed. I'm the first one in that chain to approve these deferrals. So you're gonna actually adjust your embassy appointment with the start date of your program. That's an easy process. But if you get confused anywhere in that, please contact me with that first email address which I left here in the slide, so I can walk you through that process.
All right. Any more questions? I think it's good. I see the participants' numbers have gone down. So maybe most students, most people got their questions answered.
Yeah, thank you for your great presentation, and I think you covered all of the questions. So can you please share your email addresses in chat box?
Yeah, so Mr. Fahad will type his email address, the one for international admission, and then he can also send them his Morgan email.
Yes.
Taking from chat box is easier for the attendees.
Yes, definitely.
Right. And I would like to thank our participants. IEFT Talks webinarlarına katıldığınız için çok teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Bir sonraki webinarımız yarın gerçekleşecek. Tekrar görüşmek üzere diyelim. And thank you again, Mr. Fahad and Yakub, for your great informative presentation. Until next time.
Well, thank you for hosting us. It's a pleasure to talk to the students from Turkey. Hopefully, some of them will follow up with Mr. Fahad. He's there to assist you, and he's a very hardworking staff member. I'm proud of his work. So he will be able to help you apply, and he will be there to help you answer all questions that you have. So in case we didn't have any questions answered, he'll be able to follow up. Okay, thank you so much from my side. Any last comments, Farhad?
No, thank you everyone for attending. We did have some success in the previous IEFT Talks we joined. Hopefully it's gonna go the same way. We do have about last time I was looking, we do have somewhere around 10-15 students from Turkey, and I guess they are waiting for their friends to join them. Hopefully we'll have a Turkish community here. I promise I will be there if you have baklava.
Yes, and if we have enough Turkish students, then we can start a new Turkish Student Association organization. So that's why we need enough students to join that group. So thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, IEFT, for hosting us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
No,